Welcome to NarrativeNook audio tales where enchanted stories come to life. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe, like and share to support our channel. Enjoy listening.
I have been feeling better with each passing day, but I just don't know when I can get out of this bed, Mr. Johnston Sr. said, unable to wait anymore. Don't rush it, Mr. Johnston Sr. It's going to take a while for you to recover, and your journey to recovery has just begun. You should rest more, Nicole advised. Oh Nicole, I'm so bored in this room. The person whom I get to see most often is the nurse, and I don't even have anyone to talk to, Mr. Johnston Sr. complained, after which he switched the topic of conversation. What have you been up to lately? Nothing much, I've just been taking a break. Are you still going strong with Jared? We're all right, Nicole said, curious about the question. Why did Mr. Johnston Sr. ask me about our relationship? Did Jared tell him something? That's good. Jared has a lot on his plate, so he might not have the time to keep you company. Please try to understand his situation. Still, I've advised him to make time for you yesterday. Your relationship is of utmost priority. Mr. Johnston Sr. said, and looked at Nicole with a smile. Yeah. After gathering what she could from what Mr. Johnston Sr. had said, Nicole finally understood why Jared went over to see her without telling her why. He probably did it because of Mr. Johnston Sr., she thought. At that exact moment, the doctor walked in. It has been a while since I last saw you, Miss Riddle. Nicole nodded in response and asked, Is Mr. Johnston Sr. still on the same prescription as before? About that, Mr. Johnston Sr. has stopped using that prescription since the 4th day he was awake, the physician replied and looked at Nicole. Should we prescribe him something new? I think your medication is working fine, so let's just stick with it. All right. While Nicole was talking to the doctor, her phone rang, prompting her to answer it. Hey, what's up? Are you busy? Harvey asked, his voice loud and clear on the other end of the call. I need to see you. I'm in the midst of visiting Mr. Johnston Sr. in the hospital, so I'll be seeing you later, she replied. Sure, catch you later, Harvey said. You can just leave if you're busy, Nicole, Mr. Johnston Sr. said, looking at her. Well then, I'll visit you again when I'm free, Nicole said, bade him farewell, and proceeded to leave the hospital. Nicole proceeded to drive to the library in which she was supposed to meet Harvey. She did not know why he wanted to meet her here, of all places, but she walked in nonetheless. Where are you? Nicole texted. By the window on the 5th floor, Harvey replied. Nicole took the elevator and got to the 5th floor, where people were reading in complete silence. Harvey waved at her, whereupon she sauntered over and took a seat. Why did you ask me to come here? Nicole said, her eyes ranging over the surroundings. What else can we do in a place like this aside from reading? Harvey said, delighted to see Nicole as he responded with a smile. Nicole took a look at the book that was propped up in front of him. Do you even understand what you're reading? Are you making fun of me? Can't you see the annotations next to the text? Harvey said, looking extremely confident. I'm worried that you might not even understand the annotations, Nicole mocked. Harvey rolled his eyes at once and said, I'm not going to argue with you. By the way, when are you heading abroad? Why are you asking? Nicole replied without giving him the answer as she returned his gaze. Why else? So that I can come along with you, obviously. Harvey said, looking at her with complete seriousness. You're not planning to sneak over, are you? Harvey squinted as he looked at Nicole. Do I even have to sneak? I can go there with my head held up high, Nicole said without hesitation. Why you? Harvey was so angry that he was at a loss for words. It's all right. Anyway, I heard that Sean is facing some financial difficulties. I wish to help him out, but... Harvey did not continue on purpose. All he did was stare at Nicole, waiting for her to say something. Sean has financial issues? Why didn't anyone tell me? Nicole's smile faded at an instant. He probably doesn't want you to worry about him, Harvey replied. If I wasn't working on a project with him, I wouldn't know about this either. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is... Without waiting for Harvey to finish, Nicole got up and strode off. Seeing this, Harvey ran up to Nicole and said, "I'm not done yet. Why are you leaving?" "I'm going to meet Sean." "That wouldn't help." Harvey grabbed Nicole's arm as he explained. "You'll just add to the stress that he is already dealing with. Money is the only thing that could help him now." Nicole stopped and looked at him. "Do you know how much money he needs?" "Well..." Harvey hesitated, still beating around the bush. "Forget it, I'll ask him myself if you're not going to tell me," Nicole said and attempted to walk off once more. Harvey grabbed her arm again. "Why are you in such a rush? I'll tell you now. He needs around $600 million. Actually, he might even need more," Harvey told her with a serious look on his face. Nicole stood on the spot as she pondered. "I don't have $600 million with me, so what should I do?" When Harvey saw that she had calmed down, he brought her to a table nearby and sat down with her. "Calm down, I'm already thinking of a plan. As long as I am able to get my grandpa's approval, Sean will have the money wired to his account in an instant," Harvey said. Although he just wanted to use this as a reason for Nicole to bring him along with her, he did not expect to scare Nicole. Nicole immediately looked at him and asked, "Really?" "Yeah. On one condition though." Harvey arched his brows as he looked at Nicole. Nicole smiled. "Okay, but still thank you." She knew Harvey was not going to use this against her. Otherwise, he would not have asked his grandfather in advance. "Do you think I'll settle with a thank you?" Harvey quickly took the chance to ask for more. "Do I look like a charity service to you? What else do you want then? I'll do it as long as it's within my capacity." Nicole looked at him with a frown. "Now that you've said it, don't you dare go back on your words," Harvey said, acting like a child. "Yes. It's around lunchtime now, so why don't you buy me a meal?" Harvey suggested. Nicole paused and asked, "Can I invite Carl too?" "Why would you do that?" Harvey looked at Nicole in confusion. "I think he's pretty bored in the hotel," she replied. "If he is, I can find something interesting for him to do. Just don't ask him out to join us for lunch, okay?" Harvey said, not wanting someone else to be with them, but he respected Nicole's wishes nonetheless. "Fine, you win this time." Nicole gave in, as she wanted him to help Sean out. Seeing that Nicole had agreed, Harvey was as happy as a clam. "Where do you wish to go?" Harvey smiled at Nicole. "I'm fine with anywhere really," she replied. To her, it was just a casual meal, and so, she did put much thought into the options she had. "There's a new restaurant in town, so why don't we check that out?" Harvey said with his eyes on Nicole. "Sure." "Are you not driving?" Nicole asked, as she noticed him entering the car with her. "Yeah, just so that I can be more environmental friendly," Harvey said, knowing that Nicole would definitely be driving. Therefore, he had walked over on purpose just so that he could hitch a ride. "Let me put this out there. You can't just march into my house like you did last time," Nicole said in a stern tone. "Don't worry, I won't do that anymore." Harvey rolled his eyes. It was then that Nicole loosened up. Then, she entered the car and drove off with the aid of Harvey's directions. As they were getting nearer, the buildings around them were getting increasingly familiar. "Is the place still a long way from here?" Nicole asked. "Not really." Harvey peeped out of the window and eyed the buildings. "It should be somewhere in front. There's a parking lot in front, so let's just head over there." After they had gotten off the car, Nicole turned to Harvey. "Aren't we near the headquarters of the Johnston Group? Where is this restaurant you're talking about?" "Chill, let me take a look." Harvey looked around and his eyes lit up at once. "I found it. Follow me." Harvey pulled Nicole by the arm and made a beeline for the restaurant. Little did they know, they were being observed by Fiorella, who had just exited her car as well. She squinted to take a closer look, turned around, and walked into the headquarters of the Johnston Group. Seeing that Fiorella was approaching, the assistant made a call to inform Henry at once. Then, he walked up to her with a wide smile and welcomed her. "Miss Fisher, Mr. Henry Johnston is waiting for you inside." He opened the door for her, after which she glanced at the assistant with a grin on her face. "Fiorella, Your visits tend to be unannounced, and so, I couldn't make my way downstairs to give you a personal welcome, Henry said. Henry, these formalities are unnecessary. I came here today to ask you about the proposal we've discussed. Have you made up your mind about this? Fiorella sat in front of Henry, awaiting his reply. Get Miss Fisher a cup of coffee, and be sure to brew it well. Henry glanced at his assistant. Noted, the assistant said, and marched out of the room at once. Fiorella, I've given the proposal some thought, and I must say that the project is good, but there are some risks involved. I'll hold a meeting with the board of directors. When the decision has been finalized, I'll let you know right away, Henry said and looked at Fiorella with a grin. Henry, you're not trying to stall to buy yourself some time, are you? A number of people have been asking me about this project. If it wasn't for the relationship we have, I would have agreed to their offers already. The more you drag, the more I lose. It has been a few days already, and yet you have not had a single meeting over this matter? What a joke. Fiorella stood up and stormed off. Henry quickly stopped her and apologized. Fiorella, you've misunderstood. It's not like how you've put it. Let's all calm down, have a seat, and discuss about this. There's no need for that. The project can't wait for anyone, so why should I wait? Fiorella continued, taking a few steps. Fiorella Fisher, let's sign the papers immediately. Seeing that Fiorella was furious, Henry did not dare to drag anymore. In fact, we'll sign it now. Oh, so you're taking the offer now? Fiorella looked at Henry with a grimace. Well, I'm not extending it to you anymore. Fiorella, come on, he said. Quit messing around. Let's sit down and talk about the details. There's no need for that. If you can agree to this one condition, I'll collaborate with you. Fiorella glared at him. Otherwise, you can kiss this project goodbye. What would that catch be? Let's hear it. I'll be completely in charge, she replied. With that said, I'd like Jared to be the one discussing the project details with me from here on. After Henry had heeded Fiorella's condition, he calmed down. He was trying to read the look on her face. Is she having feelings for Jared? Indeed, if it was true, it would do them no harm at all. The only issue was that the project would be too lucrative and massive for Jared to manage. Fiorella, I can agree to that, but I have a little request of my own. Henry looked at her with a leer which he suppressed. Impatient, Fiorella frowned and looked at him. What request? Henry smiled and looked at Fiorella. I want Jared to manage this project together with Castor. After all, it's a huge project. If Jared were to do it alone, it would be too much of a burden for him. Castor can assist him and together, they can share the workload. Fiorella gave it a quick thought. Jared would definitely be tired if he manages the project all on his own. And if he is tired, he would have neither the time nor energy for me. That would just defeat the purpose of what I had planned out. But with Castor around, Jared would have more time to spend with me. Okay, sure. Fiorella gazed into Henry's eyes and agreed. In which case, should we sign the contract today or some other time? Henry said, seeking Fiorella's opinion. Since it has been decided, we'll sign it tomorrow, she replied. You can send your men over to my office tomorrow. All right, no problem, he said. I better get going now. Fiorella said without giving Henry another look and walked straight out the door. Henry stared at Fiorella's rear and smirked. Being the chairman is amazing. All the good things would come to me before anyone else. This vault of gold will be mine soon. At this thought, Henry could not help but laugh. Fiorella did not leave the building right after she had walked out of Henry's office. Instead, she went to Jared's office. Is Jared around? Fiorella asked the assistant at the door. Mr. Jared is having a meeting at the conference room. You may wait for him in the office, the assistant said, and brought Fiorella into the office. What would you like to drink? Coffee. Noted. In a few minutes, the assistant brought a cup of coffee in. Just as he was about to leave the room, Jared opened the door and waltzed in. Mr. Jared Johnston, Miss Fisher is here, the assistant reported, and marched out of the room. Jared took a deep breath and walked in. Fiorella, To what do I owe this visit? Jared, I'm here to bring you some good news. Fiorella beamed as she looked at Jared. He looked at Fiorella, puzzled as to what she had meant. Then he sat down and asked, "What good news do you have this time?" "The project I told you about. Henry has agreed to it today," Fiorella replied as she was sat at the table across Jared. "He agreed to it? That's good news indeed. Congratulations to you." Jared smiled at her. "It's not just good news for me. It's good news for us." Fiorella smiled at Jared. "Us?" The smile on Jared's face began to fade, and he looked at her with his forehead creased. "What do you mean by that?" "This project will be managed by you and Castor," she replied. "Isn't that good news for us? In addition, the both of us will be working on this project together in the future." Fiorella was elated. She looked at Jared affectionately as if he was her boyfriend. "Was this Henry's idea or yours?" Jared asked. Initially, Fiorella wanted to tell him the truth, but she was worried that Jared would object, so she blamed it on Henry. "It was Henry's idea, of course. He must have thought that Castor couldn't manage such a major project alone, so he assigned it to you as well. Anyways, I think this is a good arrangement. It would definitely be tiring for a single person to do everything on his own. With the both of you working together, neither of you would be exhausted." Jared had a strong urge to approach Henry at once and ask him to pass the position to someone else. But knowing that Henry was at the top of the chain of command, he would not be able to persuade Henry without a solid reason. Then, he stared at Fiorella and his mind began to wander. "Jared, what are you thinking about?" Fiorella noticed that Jared was lost in thought and attempted to snap him out of it. "Nothing. It's just that this news is way too sudden. I don't think I'm prepared for it yet," Jared said, knowing that he could not tell her what was on his mind, so he had to come up with something. "Oh, no preparations are needed. You can just treat it like you would any other project. There is no need to be nervous about it," Fiorella said, thinking that he was anxious about the project, and attempted to comfort him. "When is the project starting?" Jared stared her in the eye, and asked. "Once the contract has been signed, we'll get to work immediately." To create an opportunity for herself to get closer to Jared at work, Fiorella had already delayed the plan. She wanted to make up for all the lost time. "Is it that urgent?" Jared raised his eyebrows. "If it wasn't Henry who kept stalling, we wouldn't be in this much of a rush," Fiorella said, angry at the mere mention of Henry. "How long is this project going to last?" Jared asked. "The estimated time would be about 3 years. It might be completed earlier or there might be delays. It's too early to set a time frame for it," Fiorella replied, telling Jared the truth. 3 years. Once Jared was informed of the duration, the urge to pull himself out of the project became stronger. It seemed to him that he needed to have a good conversation with Henry. Yeah. After all, it's a massive project. The focus is on future development and long-term profits, so it'll take up quite some time. Fiorella explained, feeling that Jared was not too excited about it. "Jared, do you have any worries about the project? Is it because of your existing projects?" Fiorella continued, making a wild guess. "That is just part of the issue, but I have given it some thought," he replied. "I might not be able to manage so many projects all at once. I'm worried that there might be some problems in the future." Jared knew that Fiorella would be the person in charge of this project. Thus, he attempted to make it clear to her that he was not the best person to manage it, hoping that she would remove him from it. However, he did not expect Fiorella to not share such concerns. In fact, she began to comfort him by saying, "Jared, for a person like you, I'd say that these worries are as baseless as can be. With your abilities, managing a few projects all at once will not be an issue. Even if you don't have enough time and energy needed to take care of this project, Castor will be by your side, assisting you. I'm sure he won't let you manage everything on your own." Jared was disappointed, for he had already made his intentions and position obvious, and yet Fiorella had failed to understand what he had meant. "Thank you for your assurance." Jared issued a long sigh. "Jared, in light of this good news, should we head out and celebrate? I saw a new restaurant just around the corner. Would you like to grab some lunch together? Fiorella suggested. I'm not hungry yet. It doesn't matter, she interrupted. It's already afternoon, and we still have to eat. Lunch is on me. Fiorella held her head up high and looked at Jared. She was waiting for him to get up and head out with her. Seeing Fiorella's insistence, Jared knew that he could not decline. Knowing this, he casually stood up and said, Since you're here in my turf, I'll be buying us lunch instead. You're always so thoughtful. I'll gladly accept then. Fiorella smiled and walked out together with Jared. Back in the restaurant, a portion of Harvey and Nicole's order had been served. Sir, please enjoy your food. The rest of the order will be served shortly, the waiter explained in a soft tone. All right. Let's give it a try, Nicole. Harvey's eyes lit up as he stared at the dishes. The plating makes the dishes look really inviting. Well, it's pretty good. Nicole complimented after she took a piece of yam and chewed it. Yeah. Even these chunks of beef stewed in the broth. Every bite is so rich in flavor. Harvey could not help but express one flattering remark after another about the dishes on the table. Anyway, you still haven't answered my question. When are you flying abroad? Harvey mentioned again. He was eyeing her, eagerly awaiting her reply. Nicole looked at him. Are you that interested in coming along for the project of the manned flying car? Actually, I'm not interested in joining, he said. I'm just curious about it. He could not be forthcoming with the fact that he wanted to come along because of her. Otherwise, he would have lost his chance of going with her. Curious? There is a time and place for you to fill your curiosity, and this is not it. If that is your reason, I would suggest not going at all. There's nothing there. Our days will be boring and uneventful, filled to the brim with discussions, experiments, and repetitions the entire process until we achieve a desirable result. Nicole explained to Harvey truthfully. After all, there was nothing attractive there for her as well, and if it were not for Jared, she would not have agreed to join the project. Nicole was furious at the thought of Jared. She scooped a piece of the food in front of her and took a big bite. Don't you think it's cool for a group of people to work on a problem together? Everyone has different ideas, and when it all comes together, interesting things tend to occur. To me, it's a place filled with challenges and innovation. Even if I have no knowledge about these things, being able to witness these experiments will be a joy. Harvey said, trying really hard to make his explanation sound reasonable. I've never seen you being this persistent over something. She looked at him with a deadpan expression on her face. Because you're so eager to come along, I'll let you know once everything is confirmed. But I have one request. What would that be? Harvey stared back, his seriousness matching hers. When we're there, you may only follow me around. You can't wander around or touch anything on your own. Wherever I go, you go. Whenever I leave, you leave too. You can't stay there with the development team on your own and get in the way of their work. Nicole laid her demands out, unsmiling. Not a problem, he said. To Harvey, these demands are nothing but boons for him. After all, she was the only reason as to why he wished to come along. If he could stay by her side all the time, he would be screaming with joy. Okay, but let me make this clear, she said. If and when you do go against our agreement, I'll send you back at once, and you won't be allowed to follow me around anymore. I've always kept my word. I'll fulfill whatever I've promised you, so don't you worry. Harvey maintained a deadpan expression on his face as he assured Nicole. Anyway, try this out. Harvey scooped a dish and served it to Nicole. Coincidentally, Jared was walking toward their general direction when he saw the gesture taking place, and it was then that Fiorella saw that Jared had stopped walking. She walked up to his side and asked, "Are we sitting here?" Jared did not answer Fiorella's question, as his eyes were still fixed on Nicole and Harvey. Fiorella, who was confused, proceeded to trace Jared's gaze, only to find Harvey serving Nicole some food. Seeing that, she smirked. Then, Fiorella pretended to give him a look of surprise. "I think that's Nicole and Harvey over there. Should we head over and say hi?" Once again, Jared did not offer her a forthcoming response. He had the urge to rush forward and ask Nicole, but when he recalled Nicole's cold attitude toward him, he gave up on the thought. Then, he turned toward Fiorella. Let's just sit here? All right. Fiorella replied at once, not minding the seating position. Her work was done as long as she managed to sow a sense of misunderstanding between the two of them. Hello, what would you like to order? The waiter stood politely beside them, at the table, and waited to take their order. Fiorella held the menu up and glanced around. Then, she turned to the waiter and asked, It's our first time here. Could you recommend a few dishes? Sure, the dishes on the first page of the menu are pretty good, the waiter suggested. All right, then I'll have one of each, Fiorella replied. Jared, what would you like to eat? Fiorella turned to Jared after she had ordered a few of the dishes she would prefer, but it was then that she noticed that his gaze was still fixed on Nicole's table. Fiorella then waved her hand in front of Jared's face. Jared, what would you like to eat? It was only then that Jared came back to his senses and looked at Fiorella. I'm fine with anything. You may go ahead and order up. Okay. Fiorella nodded, after which she turned toward the waiter. We'll just stick with those which I have just ordered. All right, I'll bring some snacks over, so the both of you can have a much while you wait, the waiter said. Sure. Fiorella uttered, satisfied with the restaurant's service. After the waiter had left, Fiorella turned her attention toward Jared and attempted to initiate a conversation. Jared, I ordered quite a few dishes today. I'm afraid I might empty your wallet. It's fine, as long as you're happy, Jared replied to her absent-mindedly. Jared, you've been staring for quite some time now. Why not go over and say hi? Fiorella said in purpose, attempting to persuade him. Based on her understanding of Jared, the more she coerced him to do something, the more he would be unwilling to do it. No, it's fine. Jared averted his gaze and centered it back at Fiorella. Have you made the order for the both of us? Fiorella chuckled. I did. Are you really this forgetful? I've just asked your opinion regarding the order too. It seemed that Jared was so engrossed in the act of staring at Nicole that he had forgotten about all that had just happened. Oh, is that so? Perhaps I didn't notice, Jared explained, albeit awkwardly. Jared, what do you like to do during your spare time? Fiorella asked, not wishing to spend all of her time talking about work-related things with him, as she wanted to know him on a personal level too. Whenever I'm free, I like to read, play sports, and travel. He said, but the instant he spoke about traveling, he recalled that he made a promise to travel together with Nicole. However, one incident led to another, and that had caused a delay to their trips. Then, Jared turned toward Nicole and looked at them again. I wasn't expecting you to be so productive during your spare time. Fiorella smiled and looked at Jared, attempting to seduce him from time to time. How about you? He asked. What do you like to do when you're not working? I like swimming. That sense of freedom it provides is amazing. On top of that, I can cut down on some weight. It's good for my health, Fiorella said, after which she looked at Jared with a grin on her face. The server approached them with a tray in hand. Hello, these are the dishes you've ordered. Their food seems authentic, and the aesthetics look pretty good, Fiorella said, as her eyes were drawn to each dish. The waiter proceeded to leave after serving them their meal. Jared, give this a try. Fiorella scooped from one of the dishes and placed a chunk on Jared's plate. Thank you. Jared took a bite. It is pretty good, I must say. Fiorella proceeded to dig in, whereupon she engaged Jared in a merry conversation, and from time to time, she would let out a loud laugh. Her motive was to get Nicole to notice them. Jared. Nicole suddenly blurted. Harvey heard her remark, and turned around to see what was going on. His eyes widened at that instant. It really is Jared. How is it that he is here as well? And who is that lady with him? Nicole was asking herself the same question as well. Why does her figure look so familiar? It was at this moment that Fiorella turned to her flank and waved at the waiter. Nicole instantly recalled, Fiorella Fisher? Why are they together again? Harvey noticed that Nicole's expression had soured, and so he asked, What do you mean by together again? Do you always bump into them spending time together? Nicole glared at Harvey, and in a harsh tone of voice replied, I bumped into them a few days ago. They were playing golf together. Harvey nodded and replied, perhaps they're just talking about work. Harvey came to realize that he was defending Jared after he had blurted those words, and thus, he quickly added, or who knows, they might just be chatting. Nicole rolled her eyes at Harvey. Aren't these one and the same? No, there's a world of difference, he continued explaining as though he was an expert in the science of social interactions. Talking about work is, merely about work, but when it comes to having a chat, the topic could be anything. They can be engaging in small talk, or they can be partaking in deep, meaningful conversations about their personal lives. What kind of expression is that? Nicole sneered at Harvey. Spoken as though you are some kind of expert. I won't say I'm an expert, but I've seen a lot. I must say, I do know a thing or two about instances like these. Harvey looked at Nicole confidently. Then what do you think they are talking about? Nicole asked out of slight curiosity. Harvey turned around and scrutinized Jared's expression. Then, a smirk appeared on Harvey's face. What are you smiling at? Nicole looked at him, puzzled. Oh well, Jared is also a man after all. Harvey laughed. Would you be so kind as to further your explanation? Nicole asked, unhappy at the sight of Harvey laughing all by himself. Things like these can only be understood through experience, not words, Harvey said with his brows raised. I see that you are displaying a lot of interest in whatever they could be talking about. Why don't you head over and say hi? I'm not going to do that. You do so if you want. Nicole rolled her eyes and continued eating. You're not even going to greet them, so why should I? Harvey glanced at her. Then, he continued eating as if nothing had happened. However, he was leaping with utmost joy deep within. Nicole took a few bites and realized that she could no longer stifle her curiosity. She looked up and gazed off at Jared's general direction again. Coincidentally, her eyes met Jared's. Seeing this, she whirled around and averted her gaze at once. But to Jared, Nicole's actions made it seem as though she was hiding something from him. At this point, the air around Jared was becoming so stifling that even Fiorella, who was preoccupied with her food, could feel it. As soon as she looked up, she was almost shocked by the expression on his face. Jared, are you okay? Fiorella looked at him, concerned. Hearing Fiorella's voice, Jared quickly collected himself. He had lost all appetite at this juncture. Then, he looked at Fiorella, maintaining his decorum as he said, Fiorella, I have matters I must attend to. I need to excuse myself. The meal is on me, so you may enjoy the food on your own time. Jared, what is the matter? She asked. Why are you in such a hurry? You didn't really eat much. Why not take a few more bites before you leave? In truth, Fiorella wanted to make Jared stay for a while longer because she was not sure if Nicole had noticed them. No, I'm good. Bye. Jared took one last glance at Nicole and left at once. Jared, I'm coming with you. Fiorella rushed after him, wishing to leverage this opportunity. Nicole noticed the commotion at Jared's table, but as soon as she glanced over her shoulder to catch a glimpse of it, Jared had already walked out with Fiorella following right behind. After having witnessed that, Nicole's appetite vanished. She placed her fork down and slumped back against her chair. Harvey was able to register her feelings at once, during which he grabbed his juice and drank a little. Then, he looked at Nicole. It's fine. If you're unhappy, just let it all out. I'll pretend as if I didn't hear anything. Nicole shot him a glance and maintained her silence. She did not need a listening ear. In fact, she could manage the pain and recover on her own. Are you done eating? Nicole asked after a long pause. We still have a lot of time. Harvey looked at her with his forehead creased. Are you done yet? Yeah, you can take your time. Nicole said that and stood up. I'll get the bill. But as she was about to turn around and grab her belongings, Harvey stopped her. What do you mean? Are you leaving already? Yeah. Harvey dropped his fork and looked at Nicole. Where are you going? Home, she replied. Where else would I go to? I'm coming along. Harvey stood up, ready to leave with her as he did not wish to eat anymore. It's fine. It wouldn't be convenient for us. You should finish up the food, or else it'd be a waste. Nicole smiled and left the restaurant. Harvey stared at Nicole as she walked out. As she had not eaten her share, Harvey understood that anyone would be unhappy if they were to see their other half having a meal with someone of the opposite gender. This applied to Nicole as well. However, the more distant they were, the better it would be for Harvey, and hence a higher chance for him to make Nicole his. With that in mind, Harvey sat down and continued eating, relaxed in light of that which had transpired. On her way back to the Sea View Villa, Nicole could not stop thinking about the scene where Jared and Fiorella were having a laugh together. How could he be this happy around her? And the worst part is, he saw me but never bothered to say hi. Concurrently, Jared was also furious as he sat in the car. When she went out with Carl the other day, she almost got into trouble. Why is she hanging out with that B***starred Harvey again today? Has she lost all of her feelings for me already? With the thought lingering in his head, Jared, who was heading home, quickly turned around and drove back to the restaurant. Just as he reached the junction, he came across Nicole's car, which he could recognize through the windshield, and decided to follow her. As Nicole's mind was racing with all that had occurred at the restaurant, she became a little too distracted while driving. When she had reached the junction, she did not pay attention to the stoplight, and continued driving forward. At that exact moment, a truck came careening over from her flank, and before she knew it, the truck had slammed into her. Jared, who was tailing her from behind, became as pale as sheet upon witnessing that scene. He pulled over at once and dashed over to Nicole. As soon as he had approached the driver's side of the car, he wrenched the door open and yelled, "Nicole, are you okay?" Nicole, whose hands were on her forehead, looked up and saw him. "Jared? Why are you all over the place?" Upon uttering the last word, she passed out. Jared immediately carried her into his car. Then, he floored the accelerator and rushed to the hospital. "Please wake up, Nicole. Just hold on for a while longer. We'll be reaching the hospital soon," Jared said while keeping an eye on her condition, after which he took his phone out. "Martin, Nicole got into an accident. I'm rushing her to the hospital now. I need you to come over right away." "An accident?" "That's it. I am coming over." Martin left all he was doing and rushed to the hospital. Jared's car halted, whereupon Martin ran over and lifted Nicole onto an emergency stretcher. As he was pushing her into the emergency unit, he asked Jared, "Where was she struck? Was it a serious accident?" "It was not a very serious one, but she got hit in the head," Jared said, attempting to describe the whole situation to Martin. "Excuse me." Martin pushed Nicole to the emergency ward and began to examine her. After a few tests, Martin became more relaxed, and turned to look at Jared. "Don't you worry. She only lost consciousness. There are no injuries on the other parts of her body save for some bruises on her head." Upon hearing Martin's diagnosis, Jared breathed a sigh of relief. "That's great. You should go ahead and treat her." Martin proceeded to treat the bruises on her forehead with utmost meticulousness. While he was doing so, Nicole woke up, surprised to see him. "Martin? Where am I?" "You're at the hospital." Martin held her down so that she would stay still. "Don't get up. You got injured in a car accident, and I'm treating your wound now. Max, I need you to head over to and take care of Nicole's accident," Jared ordered with his phone held up to his ear. "Is she hurt?" Max hurriedly asked. "Just some bruises," Jared replied. "She's fine." "All right. I'll deal with it now," Max finished. Jared hung up and strode into the emergency room. By now, Martin was done treating Nicole's wound while she was already sitting up. "How are you feeling now?" Jared quickly walked over and asked. Wide-eyed, Nicole turned and stared at him. "How are you here as well?" "He was the one who sent you here," Martin explained. Nicole fixed her eyes on Jared. As it turned out, the Jared she had seen in the crash site was not the one in her dreams, but once she recalled him having gone on a lunch date with Fiorella, a strange feeling came over her. "Weren't you having lunch with Fiorella? Why were you there when the accident happened?" Nicole looked at him with a brow raised. Well, that's not important. How are you feeling now? Do you feel any sort of pain? Jared dodged the question and asked. That's none of your concern. Nicole was still furious, and Jared's attempt at evading the question only made her more so. You should go, she said, not wanting to see him at this moment. What happened to the both of you? Martin asked, sensing that something was wrong with the both of them, and that they seemed to have had an argument. Seeing that Nicole was upset at him, Jared decided that he should not insist on lingering, and proceeded to leave her under the care of Martin, who he trusted. Nothing. Just do me a favor and send her home later on. I'll get going as I have matters to attend to. Hey Jared. Martin shouted, but Jared continued walking away.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.